Well, of course, it isn't just about the fan festivities and the fun. That's a big part of it, of course. It's also about baseball and the Rockies and what's going to happen with them this season. There are a lot of new faces on the team. We want to bring in Denver7's Troy Renck, who joins us early this morning to talk about expectations for the play on the field, starting with the new face of the franchise in the big acquisition of Kris Bryant. Troy?
Yeah, Kris Bryant has won a World Series ring with the Chicago Cubs. He is going to be a leader for this team. Essentially, he's replacing Nolan Arenado in that way in terms of the figurehead. He's going to bring power. He's going to play mainly left field. He's going to find out that you have to text message the center fielder to play left in Coors because it's a Ponderosa out there. But he is a really good player. He's a good guy. The fans will embrace him. So we'll see how it goes. But Kris brings that World Series experience, a guy who's been there, done that. So that's part of the reason, that and his power, is why he's now a Colorado Rocky.
Yeah, he's got a lot of offense too, and hopefully his home runs even go up here in the altitude of Coors Field. We will see. Another new face is Jose Iglesias, replacing the beloved Trevor Story at shortstop. We've seen a little bit of him in action during spring training. What are your thoughts on Trevor Story's replacement?
Yeah, Iglesias, his glove has a velvet touch. It's soft. I mean, he is one of the slickest fielding shortstops in baseball, which is fantastic. Problem is, he doesn't hit very much. That's the reason the Angels cut him late last year. But fans will see when he's at defense that he might even be a better defender than Trevor Story. But you're going to miss Trevor Story's his power and his speed. Iglesias is more of a kind of, Brian, a 1970s, 80s shortstop, all glove, not much bat. But he will solidify that infield. If he just plays great defense, you would expect the guys around him to hit. That's McMahon, Rogers, and Crone. So they could probably get away with it. But fans will appreciate Iglesias' glove. Just don't look for him to hit for a lot of power. That's not his game.
Right, let's talk a little bit about the pitching. Obviously, the hometown kid, Kyle Freeland, getting the start today. All-star last year, German Marquez, also in the rotation. How does the pitching look to start the season?
Well, they've got experience, and that helps at altitude. I mean, I remember when I was covering the Rockies back in the day, and I asked Mets closer Armando Benitez about pitching at Coors Field, and he looked at me and said, El Diablo. It is a very difficult place to pitch. But guys who've come up and learned it, it's easier for them to kind of have selective amnesia and get over the cheap hits. It's not really the home runs that kill you at Coors, Brian. It's all the cheap hits when you make a great pitch because the field's so vast and big, especially obviously the outfield. But Kyle Freeland competes. He will give you everything he's got. He's a Thomas Jefferson grad, a local star. He loves this opportunity. He grew up a Rockies fan, so you know how much today means to him. German Marquez, as you mentioned, was an all-star. Then you still have Antonio Senzatella, you have Austin Gomberg. So you've got some guys. The fifth spot's going to be a carousel of pitchers like it is on most teams. But they've got some experience, but they need to step up. You can't keep talking about how they've got experience. They've got to perform. And with Kyle Freeland, it will start today, and he is looking forward to it. I know that.
Yeah, and despite the lockout delay, it is still a 162-game season this year. Obviously, this is just game one, but talk about expectations. I know a lot of the players, at least, are hoping to surprise some people. The Rockies aren't expected to do much, but what do you feel like their chances are of making a run for the postseason?
Yeah, listen, I covered their '07 World Series team, and that came out of nowhere. It was up with purple. That was a very ordinary team and got hot at the end. And this team probably has delusions of adequacy, Brian, but the reality is this, you can get hot. You can make a trade late to get yourself in it. The biggest problem they have is the fact that they're in a division that's loaded with the Dodgers, who are, their projections are 100 wins. The Padres are around 85 wins. The Giants are around 85 wins. I mean, it's the division that's going to give them problems. If they can stay competitive in the NL West, and that starts today against the Dodgers, they'd have a chance for a winning record. I think that's high end. Most projections have them at 69 to 70 wins. So maybe they can get hot. They're going to hit more. They're going to have more power. So they should be a better watch. But can they be consistent on the road? Typically, when they have more power at home, it suffers on the road. But for me, high end would be 81 wins, and somewhere realistically, they're probably around a 73 to 74 win team. But that that's for later. Reality can clobber them in the head. Brian, today is about Up with Purple. It's about celebrating baseball and the return of it to Lodo. It will be a magical day, as it is every home opener down in Denver.
That's it. And keep in mind, the Rockies won the opener last year against the Dodgers. So we'll see if that holds true again today. Troy, thank you so much for joining us here this morning.